DeShaun Watson. Let's look at the Cleveland Browns. DeShaun Watson, once ago, long time in a faraway land of Houston, Texas, I should say. DeShaun Watson was arguably a top 10, if not a top 5 quarterback in the league. His rookie season, played like half the year, if like 3 games, I think it was. 1,700 yards, 19 touchdowns. Year 2, 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. Year 3, 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. Year 4, 4,800 yard touchdown, or 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns. He was the man. He was the myth, the legend himself. DeShaun Watson was leading the Texans to the promised land. And for whatever reason, something happened, GM, ownership, there was a turmoil. There was a disagreement, and they went their separate ways. We're not going to go on to why they went their separate ways, but then he ended up in Cleveland and sat out a season for the whole dispute. And then last season, he played, from week 12 on, he threw for 1,100 yards for 7 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Now, DeShaun Watson has said, yes, I am not a top 10 quarterback right now. I understand that. And I have to prove myself again. Like, I get that. So guys, is it an overreaction that DeShaun Watson will be a top 10 quarterback again in the NFL? When we look at the quarterback landscape in the NFL right now, it is very, very competitive. Now, obviously, you got your front runners up there. You have your Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. You can throw Aaron Rodgers up there like if you want to. You can throw Lamar Jackson up there, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, right? But then we have some up and coming quarterbacks, right? You have your Kenny Pickett. You could throw Brock Purdy up there. Geno Smith, if he performed like he did last year, he'll be a top quarterback in the league. Kirk Cousins, we always forget about Kirk Cousins. The quarterbacks in the NFL right now are very, very, very good. You can throw almost anybody that you want from 7 through 12, and I don't think anybody can legitimately have an argument like, oh, no, that person doesn't belong. Well, why don't they belong, right? I mean, I can tell you why they do belong, but you can tell me why they don't belong. You'll be like, I don't know. So is it an overreaction that DeShaun Watson can be a top 10 quarterback again? No. Obviously, the talent is there. 3 seasons in a row, 4,000-plus yards, 26 touchdowns, 33 touchdowns with the not-so-good Houston Texans team. You put him in a good situation in Cleveland. How does that sound coming out like out of the mouth? A good situation in Cleveland? But whatever. We digress from that. He has a good core around him. They have stability in Cleveland. They have a good running game. They have a good passing game. DeShaun Watson doesn't have to literally carry the team to the playoffs like he did in Houston. Now, DeShaun Watson will be a top 10 quarterback again. That is not an overreaction. I think he will work off that rust. I think he will have another 4,000-yard passing season. I think he will be very, very effective. But with that being said, since he doesn't have to carry the team like he did in Houston, since he doesn't have to rush all over the field, since he doesn't have to do this, and this, he can just be a quarterback. The stats are going to be down a little bit and be like, oh, what's wrong with DeShaun Watson? He's not rushing for 1,200 yards and throwing for 4,000 yards anymore. Well, he doesn't have to. DeShaun Watson is a pocket quarterback. DeShaun Watson is perfectly happy saying hi, taking 2 steps and throwing it to Amari Cooper. Perfectly happy doing that. He doesn't have to run around and with his head cut off. So I do think at some point this season we will be talking about DeShaun Watson as a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. That is not an overreaction, guys.